Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Books Podcast with your host, Gloria and Rogan. And today we're excited to dive into a special book with you. We've picked this one because it has some really important lessons to share, and we can't wait to talk about them. So let's get started.
You're trying to take control of your finances, and this book is quite the handbook. Get ready to unlock those billion-dollar secrets and make your money work harder for you.
Absolutely. And it's interesting about Robbins' approach. It's how he connects our beliefs about money, often formed when we're really young, to our financial success as adults. It's like those early experiences really stick with us.
That's really interesting. So it's not just about understanding stocks and bonds. It's about understanding ourselves and how we think about money.
Exactly. Robbins argues that many of us struggle with money, not because we don't know enough about finance, but because, we're held back by these limiting beliefs we might not even realize we have.
Okay, so how do we break free from those hidden beliefs? Does Robbins offer any practical advice?
He does, yeah. He provides this framework. He calls them the 7 simple steps to kind of guide you toward financial freedom.
Okay, 7 steps sounds manageable. But before we get into those steps specifically, let's talk about those mental roadblocks. It's like we can have all the best maps and tools, but if we're stuck in this mindset of scarcity, it's really hard to move forward.
He addresses this head on. Robbins dives into behavioral economics and how our brains are sometimes wired to make, irrational financial decisions.
It's like that fear of missing out feeling makes us buy things we don't even need just because it's on sale.
Exactly. Robbins uses a really interesting example. It's not even about finances. Actually, he talks about the DMV organ donor form to illustrate this. He highlights how the way the question is phrased on the form really influences whether people agree to be organ donors, even though it's the same choice.
Whoa, that's fascinating. So even subtle cues can influence our decisions, even when it comes to something as important as our finances.
Absolutely. Our brains respond to framing, and being aware of this is really that first step to making more, I'd say, conscious choices with our money.
Okay, this is all making sense. We need to be aware of these mental traps, right? And understand how our brains work. But how do we actually start applying this to our, finances? Does Robbins offer any tools or practical advice for overcoming those beliefs?
Oh, he does, yeah. One of the most powerful tools he talks about is this idea of neuroassociative conditioning. It's basically like consciously linking positive emotions and experiences to our financial goals.
Okay, so instead of thinking, budgeting is the worst, we should try to associate it with something positive, like the freedom and security it can bring.
Exactly. It's about shifting your emotional state from, one of dread to one of excitement.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we've rewired our brains for success. What's the next step? You mentioned Robbins' 7 simple steps. Should we dive into those?
Absolutely. And remember, these aren't random. He's basing them off of his research, and interviews with some of the wealthiest investors out there.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's unpack those steps.
Step 1 is all about deciding to be an investor, not just a consumer.
That sounds like a fundamental mindset shift. It's about taking control rather than letting our finances control us, right?
Precisely. It's about shifting from scarcity to abundance, believing that there's enough out there for everyone.
I like that. Instead of focusing on what we don't have, we can focus on what we want to create.
Exactly. And Robbins argues that this shift is essential for, attracting wealth and abundance.
Okay, so we've decided to be investors. Now what? What's the next step in our financial transformation?
Step 2 is where things get real. It's about committing to saving a fixed percentage of your income and then automatically putting it toward your financial goals. He calls it your freedom fund.
I love that freedom fund. It sounds way more inspiring than just savings.
Yeah, it's about reframing how we think about saving. It's not about deprivation. It's about investing in our future freedom.
And Robbins really emphasizes that even small contributions can add up over time thanks to compounding, right?
Exactly. It's like planting a seed and watching it grow. The earlier we start, the more time it has to grow.
It's about playing the long game. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's about building wealth over time.
Right. It's about, creating a solid foundation for a secure financial future. And step 3 builds on this by guiding us to create a lifetime income plan.
Okay, a lifetime income plan. Tell me more about that.
It's about designing a strategy to make sure we have income, even in retirement.
So it's about creating financial security that lasts not just for the next few years,
Exactly. And Robbins gives a bunch of strategies to achieve this, from traditional retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs to, more sophisticated approaches like annuities and real estate.
Annuities can seem a bit much. How does Robbins break those down?
Yeah, he explains the different types and their benefits. For example, he talks about fixed indexed annuities. They offer growth potential but also protect you from market downturns.
So it's about finding the right mix of investments, a portfolio that's right for our goals, and, risk tolerance.
Precisely. And he talks about the importance of, talking to financial advisors that can help you navigate all of this.
Having an expert in your corner can be so helpful.
Mhm.
Okay, so we've decided to become investors, we're building our freedom fund, and creating a lifetime income plan. What's next?
Step 4 is where we dive into investing. It's about, well, mastering the fundamentals of asset allocation, diversification, and risk management.
This is where it feels real, right? We're making our money work for us.
Absolutely. And Robbins breaks all of it down, these complex concepts, into simple terms,
Yeah.
using examples and stuff.
Like when he compares asset allocation to like diversifying your diet, you need a balance of nutrients, just like your portfolio needs balance, right?
Exactly. And Robbins provides a framework for this balance with his bucket strategy.
The bucket strategy, tell me more.
He suggests dividing your investments into 3 buckets: security, growth, and dream.
Okay, I'm liking this already. So the security bucket is like low risk investments, the ones that provide that, like peace of mind.
Yeah, this might include things like bonds, CDs, or even a portion of your savings in a, high yield savings account.
So it's about having that safety net, that low risk, slow growth. What about the growth bucket?
The growth bucket is for, investments with higher returns, but more risk too. This might include, stocks, real estate, maybe some alternative investments.
So this is where we aim for those bigger gains, knowing it might be a little riskier. What about the dream bucket? That sounds exciting.
This is where you put funds toward your passions.
So if I've always wanted to own a vacation home, this is where that goal goes.
Exactly. It's about like putting your passions into your finances.
I love that. So it's not just about making the most money. It's about aligning our investments with our values and what we want.
Yeah, absolutely. And the amount you put in each bucket depends on your age, risk tolerance, and financial goals.
That makes sense. Someone younger might be okay with putting more in the growth bucket. Someone older might focus more on the security bucket.
Right. And Robbins helps you figure out how to adjust it all as you go through life.
This is great. We're taking control, building a foundation, and investing our money to reach our goals. What's next in our journey? So we've covered so much. It's like we've, mapped out our whole financial journey. We've built a solid foundation and now have the tools to actually navigate investing. What else? What's the next step to really mastering this whole money thing?
Well, now that you've got the basics, Robbins takes us straight to the world of, the ultra wealthy. We're going to uncover the secrets of his billionaire's playbook.
This is what I'm talking about. Did Robbins really talk to billionaires to learn how they invest?
He did. And it's not just what they do. He wants to know why they do it. The principles that make them so successful. We're talking huge names here, like Carl Icahn, David Swenson, Paul Tudor Jones legends.
Wow, those are some big names in finance. What kind of secrets did they, reveal?
One thing they all had in common was their long-term view. It's not about making a quick buck, it's about building something that lasts. They get that wealth is a, journey, not the destination.
Makes sense. They're playing that long game just like we talked about before.
Exactly. And they're not afraid to go against the grain. Like Sir John Templeton, he actually made a killing investing in stocks during World War II. Everyone else was freaking out.
Wow, that's some serious courage. They see opportunity where other people see, tons of risk.
Yeah, and they also know how important it is to have a system, a disciplined approach that helps them make, rational decisions even when the market's a mess.
So no emotional decisions, stick to the plan even when things are, rough.
Exactly. And that's something we can all do. Doesn't matter how much money you have.
Totally. Okay, so we have the billionaire's playbook. But Robbins doesn't stop there, does he? He looks at wealth beyond just, dollar signs.
You got it. Robbins says true wealth is about way more than just money. It's about living a meaningful life, your relationships, giving back all of it.
So important. It's about being fulfilled, not just chasing, paychecks.
Exactly. Robbins wants us to figure out what wealth means to us, to create our own dream bucket full of experiences and things that bring us joy.
That's a cool way to think about it. It's not just getting money, but making sure it lines up with our values and what we want in life.
Yeah. And a big part of that is giving back, using your wealth, no matter how much you have, to do some good in the world.
It's not always about what you get, but what you can give, right?
Yeah, totally. And Robbins says that being generous, wanting to make a difference, is a huge part of creating wealth and being fulfilled.
Powerful stuff. So we've learned a lot in this deep dive into money, master the game. What's the one thing you want to leave with our listener today?
Remember, financial freedom is possible for anyone. You just got to make that choice. Decide to take control of your finances and build the life you want.
And you don't have to do it all alone. We'll have those 7 simple steps in the show notes, along with all the resources Robbins mentioned, books, websites, even info on finding a financial advisor.
The most important thing is to actually start. Start small, be consistent, never stop learning, and you're on your way.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep learning and growing and keep mastering your money and your life.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to dive into more book insights, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We're back every Sunday at 9 a.m. with new books and more to learn from. Until next time, take care and keep learning, keep growing.